When will 1.19.10 release, asks Louis, who is obviously very excited about alley breeding and other features, and the answer, according to the Java edition, is June the 28th. That's right, in a very controversial 1.19.1 pre-release. We'll talk about why it's so controversial later, perhaps, but this very controversial pre-release said that they will be releasing the update on June the 28th if everything goes according to plan. As we know, Java and Bedrock updates try to come out on the same day if they possibly can. However, that is reserved for the major updates. Sometimes we see bug fixes release a little out of sync, and so even though I would say June the 28th is the most likely release date, it's worth mentioning we did just have a new beta release on Thursday the 23rd of June, so that is really only 5 days before the release, and so given that this certification has to go through, I'd say it's entirely possible we actually see this bug fix release on Bedrock on July the 5th. They try to release these updates on Tuesdays, and that's why we're guessing that day for now. Wow, one day after like a really important event. I couldn't tell you what it is though. What happens on July the 4th? Oh, right. National Caesar Salad Day. So a day after National Caesar Salad Day, you'll be able to play around with this update. And a lot of people have questions about this update, like Dry GC, who says in the latest preview, you can search for Legacy Frozen Ocean, an unused biome which hasn't seen the light of day since Pocket Edition Alpha, using the /locate biome command. Do you think this is unintended, or do you think they're going to implement it in a future update? And this is interestingly true. I'll show you the beta of 1.19 right now. As you can see, if you search through the biome choices that Minecraft has, Legacy Frozen Ocean is in there. However, if we actually type it in, locate biome Legacy Frozen Ocean, it doesn't seem to tell me that there is one. Should I try that again? Yeah, it took a really long time, and then it just says there isn't one in a reasonable distance. There are no Legacy Frozen Oceans in the world, but it does have the ability to find them, were they to be there. Not that it assumes there were, but the truth is the biome selection for Minecraft Bedrock seems to be a bit behind on the lingo. In fact, we know that behind the scenes, there is no such thing as a Badlands biome for Minecraft Bedrock. You know, this famous Badlands biome doesn't exist over here. Instead, though, there is a Mesa biome with a Mesa Bryce, Mesa Plateau mutated, etc., etc. You can search for all of those biomes should you want to. I hope I find one. I mean, it might be 1,200 blocks away. Jeez. Do you think it takes us to the middle of the biome or the closest block in the biome to us at the point that we say that command? I mean, right now it teleports me above nothing. But yeah, this tells us a lot of interesting things because Mojang updated the internal biome names for Java, but on Bedrock, they have not been updated. And so there is no such thing as the Badlands biome. There's this. Oh, it was the closest block in the biome. As you can see, it's right on the corner here. But this is a Mesa biome, and it's incredibly interesting to me that they didn't update that, because it's a Mesa at heart for all of us too, right? Anyway, speaking of things that are a Mesa at heart, the locate command is also missing the /locate jungle temple, as is astutely pointed out by this comment, and that's true. If you try to locate a jungle temple, there is no such structure. This is because Minecraft groups together the desert temple, the jungle temple, and the swamp hut, the witch's temple. I don't fully understand that one, like why. Surely the witch's hut should be its own thing. Nope, there are 3 separate structures, entirely separate in the way they're implemented, but they're all called the temple, and they're all very, very different, and there's no way to specifically look for one over the others. So I have no idea if that nearest temple is a jungle one. It might be, or it might be a desert temple. It might even be a witch hut. It's impossible to tell without following it, and that's one of the many flaws of the locate command, but I'm not here to complain about locate. I'm very happy that 1.19.10 will officially have support for locate biome, amongst other things. But before we talk more about that, I think it's important we talk about the Java equivalent, because there's so much controversy going on with that end of the update. Chang Brian asks, how do you feel about the new chat moderation system in 1.19.1 for Java? I've been seeing some hatred over it. So obviously, Mojang has been going down this train, which you can see has included 1.19.1, which now has a new UI for if you've been banned for violating the Minecraft community standards, as well as offering new ways to report players for violating those standards. If you are banned, you can be banned from other players' realms and servers and online functionality as a result of people who report you for not meeting Minecraft standards and rules. And this sounds like a pretty reasonable function that a lot of games have on the surface, but it's really interesting because Minecraft has gone so many years without it, right? It's weird because Minecraft did go from being the Wild West of games till 2016 they added this small screen saying, just so you know, online play is not rated and we have no idea what happens there. However, I think the thing that's changed since the Microsoft acquisition is they are now a much bigger game, and also they're a game that are explicitly marketing towards children. So they can't put their hands up and say, hey, you should have known it was online, when it's literally a 7-year-old who goes on there and maybe they get groomed. Maybe they get their parents' credit card details scammed, or maybe they just run into really unpleasant people and parents don't like that and they send angry emails. And so to close the legal liability on that and close the animosity that that's causing and maybe prevent some bad PR, they have decided that if everyone can report players online, then hopefully, some of that goes away, and also it becomes more of like a player-based thing. However, the community says, but why do we need moderation now all of a sudden? I mean, we've had great Minecraft servers for years without this, and if you're going to be banned permanently, this is kind of for a service that you're paying for, this can be really negative repercussions, and so it's a big set of repercussions, it's a big punishment for something that most people aren't doing, if we're being totally honest. And so, how do I feel about it myself? I would say that this is, it's an obvious legal thing to do, to try and push as much of the blame as to what happens inside multiplayer games into the users that are in those games, and so having the necessary features to make that work is great. I thought, based on this screenshot I saw of the update, that they were adding the block function, and I thought, oh, this is really good. Why are people against this? It turns out Minecraft has had a block function with this lovely block icon right here. Minecraft Java has had a block function for a while, and they're just now adding the bans and the reports, and they're having someone go over it, and I just wonder what the benefit of that is. Like, what's the difference between someone who's blocked and so you can't see them, and that same person being banned, besides you feeling like you've got one over on them? Or perhaps we could say it's because, oh, well, if they're banned, they can never hurt anyone again. But it feels as though it's a dangerous amount of power to randomly bring out of nowhere with, next to no oversight. You could see it being a group of players deciding what Minecraft should do. You could see it being the server owner or the realm owner, but instead there's a group of moderators for the game who are, it seems dangerous, even if we're only talking about weak bans. A weak ban from a game that you maybe love is quite serious, huh? But speaking of things that I quite love, I've got an important question from Eric. What happened to the abandoned villages? It feels like they got rid of them. And this is funny, Minecraft Bedrock for the longest time had a bugged rate of generation for the abandoned villages. Instead of generating at 2% likelihood, they were generating at like 30%. Every third or fourth village you run into would be abandoned and filled with zombie villagers. Honestly, it was getting old to me, but it's funny because you're right, since they fixed it, it feels as though they basically don't exist, because it was always meant to be this rare, unique thing. Wow, this village doesn't have villagers in. And so yeah, just a reminder, next time you find one, it's a really rare 1 in 50 chance, and it's not a weird bug anymore thanks to a bug fix. That is, honestly, I think we need to have more respect for bug fixes, at least the ones that like add a couple of features, but bug fixes as a whole are better than getting no update, because there's so many important bugs which have just been sitting in Minecraft for so long, and I'm glad that they're getting through, making them a little bit better. Speaking about making things a little bit better, imagine discovering and experiencing Minecraft for the first time in 1.19. As much as we complain, what we currently have is pretty amazing. Do you feel blessed or disappointed, Toycat? My answer is I definitely feel as though I don't feel blessed or disappointed. I feel as though Minecraft is an amazing game, and a lot of people don't appreciate that just because you get a bad update really means subpar. Like, even if you don't like frogs, you can ignore frogs. If you don't like allays, you can ignore allays. If you don't like mud bricks, you can ignore them. Like I definitely didn't do in an upcoming video, and that is definitely not embarrassing, but you can ignore any features that you don't enjoy enough, and you can just enjoy the ones from before. But every single update for the last 5 years stacked together makes Minecraft such an interesting game. Caving has gotten so fun now. Finding structures, there's so many rare and cool and amazing to explore ones that can make the game feel like it's full of exploration. And what do I say? I feel as though 1.19 would be an amazing discovery. I think there might be too much content in some ways, like you'd feel so overwhelmed all the time, but that's something I can't even imagine my experience. Just like with a good TV show, I would love to erase my memory of Minecraft and then see how it is when I replay it again. Maybe it's awful. Maybe 1.19 Minecraft doesn't make me fall in love the same way that beta 1.3 Minecraft does, but I would love to see that. By the way, Michaela asks, will the Let's Plays start back up again soon? I enjoy watching them, but I understand that life gets in the way. So the Let's Plays are this really sticky topic for the channel, because because they are the longest running series. They're the thing that made this channel successful to some extent. Like, just Let's Playing Minecraft Xbox 360 way back in the day. And so it's something that I have a real hard time giving up. Every single YouTube metric says stop making these. These are videos that not as many people like, but they're really important to the people that do like them. So I've been stuck in that space for a while. I decided to like give it a little break, during the last time I was in America. And now my goal is to not have Let's Plays be every Monday, but I want to still have Let's Plays and still ideally have the, explaining what's going on the last week, all that stuff. Some of that stuff is going to happen in the streams, but I want to have as much of it be in the format of this Monday series, which just isn't every Monday. It'll be whenever there is something that is big enough that I think warrants a video that I hope that, X percentage of people click on to make sure that people actually see it. Because ultimately there is this tragedy of what's the point in making videos if YouTube won't even show them to people. And you can ruminate about this forever. A lot of people do, but I think as a creator, you kind of just have to say, okay, I will play the game. I will try to make my thumbnails and titles as enticing as possible, because that's the way that people click them, which is the only way that other people will be exposed to them. And also, it involves saying stuff like, hey, if you subscribe to the channel, you are more likely to see videos in the future. If you like seeing these videos, please do subscribe. Please do turn on notifications. It's good for me, but also it's a way of taking control of what you watch on YouTube. It's a way of influencing that weird algorithm and hopefully getting a few more Toy Cat videos in there if that's what you want. Anyway, so with that said, this Monday, there is my, I like to do this every update, collecting all the blocks, maybe besides mud bricks, and that's going to be happening on Monday, the 27th of June, and I'll be uploading it from the sky. I mean, it'll be uploaded at the airport, and then I'll be in the sky as it goes live. That'll be fun. Flying back to the United States if you're curious. So the last stream for a week or two will be the one later today. No pressure if you can't make it. Speaking of no pressure, any idea when Minecon 2022 will be? This is a big event, right? A lot of people are speculating that Minecraft Live 2022 is when they're going to be talking about 1.20 for the first time. I imagine, given that we know that event is 3-4 months down the line, that they're going to be talking about it before then. We probably won't see a full trailer, but we're going to be hearing little snippets. If we're crazy lucky, we might see a snapshot. I think that's bold, though. I imagine that, we're going to be knowing more before then. But when will Minecon 2022 be? The very earliest is the end of August, but the realistic is, middle September to the middle of October. That's when we usually expect these sorts of things. And that's when we're going to be learning more about what they've learned from 1.19, I assume. Or maybe we won't. Maybe we'll learn instead about, by the way, the best one out asks, why are people so mad at Mojang for not adding the birch forest? They said it in the stream. It was concept art. Please take this question in. And I hate answering questions that say, please answer this question. Like, that's not going to impact my ability, besides in the negative way where I go, you. Anyway, so, to answer this one anyway, though, I think the reason that people were upset with 1.19, genuinely, I think like 60% of the rage is there was an update called the Wild Update, and there was this great idea for an update planned out. We're going to update some surface biomes as well as the deep dark, as well as adding, this cute little alley and some frogs. That was a promising enough idea, and people figured, well, let's see where they take this. And where they took it was, instead of updating, a few surface biomes and really making the world wild, we got a pretty nice new Mangrove Swamp, which does have a couple of block palettes, which are amazing. And we got, that was actually, the forest thing was nowhere, and the birch forest thing, it's just concept art. They just made concept art for something they never intended to make. And so I think if it was called the Damp and Dark Update, or the Mud and Stud Update, or the Warden and Garden Update, you'd be like, oh, okay, that's fine. Okay, what's going on here? But the Wild Update was like such a big, like, this could have been crazy. It almost feels as though they were trying to hype up the update bigger with the title, but they didn't tell anyone until literally a month before release that, oh yeah, this is our first attempt at a smaller update, deliberately planned for quite some time. You can't have the biggest name, the most expansive concept for an update and then release a smaller one. That's my vibe. If you want to hear more thoughts, there's 35 minutes of them I uploaded earlier this week in place for Let's Play. But otherwise, I hope you all enjoyed this week's Q&A Saturday. I'm excited for 1.19.10. I will be letting you know when that's out with the usual update out now video on this channel, and I might even make like a special Let's Play going through just to breed those allays, and I guess I'll have a silly number of allays. So actually, good time now, by the way, is to prepare for 1.19.10. Maybe get yourself some of those amethyst shards and make a silly number of them after that happens. Yeah, I think it's going to be worth having like an ally just trapped in a cage somewhere and then just breeding copies of them every time you need to do stuff. And yeah, that's going to involve getting an amethyst geode. So if you haven't already found one in your world, now's the time to do it. This is also your preparing for 1.19.10 video. You're welcome. I'm excited to hear about the update. I'm excited to hear about your thoughts about the fact that we'll all die someday. And I'm also excited to say thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye. Make sure you subscribe to Toy Cat so he can sit through loading screens.